The phone slipped from Mark's hand, crashing onto the kitchen floor with a crack that echoed through the silent house. There, on the screen, was a photo of his younger brother, Ethan, locked in a passionate embrace with Mark's best friend, Chris, lips pressed together under the dim lights of what looked like a college party. Mark's heart pounded as denial flooded his mind. This couldn't be real. Not Ethan, the golden boy of the family, and certainly not with Chris, the guy Mark had trusted like a brother for over a decade. Mark paced the room, his mind racing back to the signs he had ignored. Ethan, at 22, had always been the perfect son in their conservative Midwestern family, straight-A student, star athlete on the university soccer team, and devout attendee at their local church. Their parents, devout Baptists from rural Ohio, had raised them with strict values: family first, faith unwavering, and no room for what they called deviant lifestyles. Mark, 5 years older, had followed the script too, marrying his high school sweetheart, Lisa, and settling into a stable job as an accountant in Columbus. But now this image shattered everything. He grabbed his keys and drove straight to Ethan's off-campus apartment, the 30-minute drive feeling like an eternity. The city lights blurred past as questions assaulted him. How long had this been going on? Why Chris, of all people? Chris had been Mark's roommate in college, the one who stood by him during his parents' messy divorce scare years ago. They shared beers, watched games, confided secrets, or so Mark thought. Pulling up to the building, Mark stormed up the stairs, banging on the door until it swung open. Ethan stood there, bleary-eyed in sweatpants, his face paling at the sight of Mark. "What the hell, man? It's midnight." Mark shoved the phone in his face. "Explain this. Now." Ethan's eyes widened, color draining from his cheeks. He stepped back, letting Mark in, and closed the door softly. The apartment was a mess. Books scattered, empty pizza boxes, but Mark didn't care. "It's not what it looks like," Ethan stammered, but his voice cracked. "Bullshit," Mark snapped. "That's you and Chris, kissing. Some party. Someone sent it to me anonymously. Who else knows?" Ethan sank onto the couch, burying his face in his hands. "Mark, please. I didn't want you to find out like this." "Find out what? That you're gay? And with my best friend." The words tasted bitter, laced with betrayal. Mark had never considered himself homophobic. He had gay colleagues at work, voted progressively, but this hit home. Their family would implode. Dad, with his Bible study groups, and Mom, who volunteered at anti-LGBTQ rallies disguised as family values events. What would they say? Ethan looked up, tears glistening. "I've known for years. Tried to pray it away, date girls, everything. But Chris, we met through you, remember? Started last summer after that barbecue at your place. We really talked, and it just happened." Mark felt a punch to the gut. "You could have told me. I'm your brother." "I was scared," Ethan whispered, "of losing everyone. Dad already suspects something. He keeps pushing me to bring home a girlfriend. And Chris, he's terrified too. His family's even worse. His dad disowned his cousin for coming out." Mark rubbed his temples, the weight settling in. He loved Ethan, but this, involving Chris, felt like a double betrayal. "Does anyone else know?" "Just a few friends. That photo. Someone must have taken it at the frat party last week. We were careful, but..." Mark's phone buzzed. Lisa calling. He ignored it. "We have to fix this, before it spreads." Ethan's eyes hardened. "Fix it? This isn't a problem to solve, Mark. It's who I am." The argument escalated, voices rising until neighbors knocked. Mark left in a fury, driving home with a storm in his chest. By morning, he hadn't slept, replaying the photo. He decided to confront Chris next. But as he dialed, doubt crept in. Was he protecting the family, or just afraid of change? At work, Mark couldn't focus, spreadsheets blurring. His boss noticed, but he brushed it off. Lunchtime, he met Chris at their usual diner, a neutral ground. Chris arrived looking haggard, as if he knew. "You son of a bitch," Mark said quietly, sliding into the booth. Chris sighed. "I figured you'd find out eventually." Ethan called me last night. How could you? You're my friend. Ethan's my brother. This is messed up. Chris leaned forward, voice low. It wasn't planned. We fought it for months. But love doesn't ask permission, Mark. You know that. Love? The word stung. Mark thought of Lisa, their easy marriage. Our families. This will destroy them. Maybe it's time they evolve, Chris said defiantly. I'm tired of hiding. Ethan's worth it. Mark's anger flared. Worth ruining lives? Dad will cut him off. Mom will never speak to him again. Chris's face softened. And what about Ethan's life? Living a lie. They parted on tense terms, Mark warning Chris to stay away. But deep down, Mark knew the secret was a ticking bomb. That evening, at dinner with Lisa, he confessed everything. She listened, then hugged him. We have to support Ethan. Family means love, not conditions. Her words haunted him. Was he the villain here? The next day, the anonymous sender struck again. This time emailing the photo to their parents. Chaos ensued. Dad called Mark, raging. Is this true? Your brother's a pervert. Mark hesitated, then lied. It's photoshopped, Dad. I'll handle it. But the lie weighed heavy. Ethan texted, they know. Come over. Mark rushed there, finding Ethan packing bags. I'm leaving. Can't face them. Don't, Mark pleaded. We'll fight this together. But Ethan shook his head. You don't get it. This is my fight. As Mark watched him go, regret gnawed. Had his confrontation pushed Ethan away? Ethan drove through the night, heading west toward Chicago, where a distant cousin offered a couch. The highway stretched endlessly, mirroring the void in his chest. Leaving Columbus felt like ripping out roots, but staying meant suffocation. The photo's exposure had escalated everything. His parents' furious calls, demanding explanations, prayers, even therapy. We'll fix you, Mom had sobbed. Dad's silence was worse, a cold disownment. Chris had begged him to stay, but Ethan needed space. Their relationship, once a secret haven, now felt like a battlefield. How had a stolen kiss at a party unraveled it all? He replayed the moment. The music thumping, alcohol loosening inhibitions, Chris's hand on his waist. It was their first public risk, and it backfired spectacularly. In Chicago, his cousin Mia welcomed him with open arms. She was out and proud, running a small LGBTQ support group. You're safe here, she said, handing him coffee. Tell me everything. Ethan poured it out. The hidden glances with Chris during family gatherings, the guilt of lying, the fear of rejection. Mia nodded. Sounds familiar. My parents still don't talk to me, but I built my own family. Inspired, Ethan enrolled in community college classes, landing a part-time job at a bookstore. But isolation crept in. Texts from Chris grew desperate. I miss you. Come back. Mark's messages were apologetic. I screwed up. Please call. Ethan ignored them, focusing on self-discovery. He attended his first Pride event, a small gathering in a park, where stories of struggle resonated. One speaker shared about losing family but gaining authenticity. The price of freedom is high, but worth it, he said. Back in Columbus, Mark grappled with the fallout. His parents convened a family meeting sans Ethan. Dad paced the living room. We raised him right. This is a phase influenced by that friend of yours. Mark winced. Chris is a good guy, Dad. Good? He's corrupted your brother. Dad thundered. Mom wept. We need to bring him home. Pray it out. Lisa squeezed Mark's hand under the table. Maybe we should listen to Ethan. Understand him. The room exploded. Dad accused Lisa of liberal nonsense. Mom retreated to her room. Mark felt torn. Loyalty to parents versus brother. That night, he confided in Lisa. I pushed him away. If I'd stayed quiet. She held him. You reacted out of shock. Now make it right. Mark decided to reach out to Chris, meeting at a coffee shop. Chris looked worn, bags under his eyes. Ethan's ghosting me. Says he needs time. I get it, Mark admitted. I overreacted. But our families. Chris leaned in. My dad found out too. Kicked me out. I'm crashing with a friend. Sympathy surged.
I'm sorry.
Didn't know. They talked for hours, Chris sharing his own coming out fears. I've loved Ethan for years. Watching him date girls killed me. Mark saw the depth, real love, not betrayal. Help me get him back. Chris agreed, but warned. He might not forgive us. Meanwhile, Ethan thrived in Chicago, joining a support group. There, he met Alex, another young man fleeing family pressure. Their conversations turned flirtatious, a distraction from Chris. One evening, over pizza, Alex kissed him. Ethan pulled back. I'm not ready. But the seed of doubt planted. Was Chris the one, or just familiarity? News from home worsened. Mark called. Dad's having health issues, stress from this. He wants to see you. Guilt tugged. Ethan returned for a weekend, bracing for confrontation. At the family home, tension crackled. Dad, Freilier, hugged him stiffly. Son, we love you, but this lifestyle, it's wrong. Ethan stood firm. It's not a lifestyle, Dad. It's me. Arguments flared, Bible verses versus personal truth. Mom pleaded, think of the community. What will they say? I don't care. Ethan shot back. I won't hide anymore. Mark mediated, defending Ethan for the first time. He's our family. We adapt or lose him. Dad stormed out. Later, in private, he confessed to Mark. I don't understand, but I don't want to lose my boy. Progress, fragile. But Chris arrived uninvited, cornering Ethan. We need to talk. Ethan's heart raced. You betrayed my trust by involving Mark. No, Chris said. I love you. We face this together. They reconciled tentatively, a hug turning emotional. But as Ethan drove back to Chicago, he wondered. At what cost? Social media buzzed, the photo leaked wider, courtesy of a vindictive frat brother. Ethan faced online harassment, slurs flooding his inbox. He deactivated accounts, but damage done. At work, whispers followed. Mark, seeing the toll, confronted the leaker, a mutual acquaintance. Delete it, or I'll report you. The guy laughed. Free speech, man. Mark's fist clenched, but he walked away, choosing peace. Yet inside, rage simmered. Was protecting family worth violence? Ethan's group therapy helped process. Betrayal comes in many forms, the counselor said. Forgive, but set boundaries. He called Chris. Let's try again. Slowly. Hope flickered. But back home, Dad's health declined. A mild heart attack. Blame fell on Ethan. Your choices stressed him. Guilt crushed. Ethan visited the hospital. Dad whispering, come home. Be normal. Tears fell. I can't, Dad. But I love you. The visit ended in stalemate. Mark pulled Ethan aside. You're brave.
I'm proud.
For the first time, brotherly bonds strengthened. But the price? Fractured family, lost friends. Months passed, and the fractures deepened. Ethan settled into Chicago life, his relationship with Chris evolving through long-distance calls and weekend visits. They navigated the minefield of their family's disapproval, but each reunion reignited the spark. Yet, shadows loomed. Chris's job in Columbus tied him down, while Ethan's new freedom tempted exploration. At a group meeting, Alex confessed feelings. You're amazing, Ethan. Give us a chance. Temptation struck. Chris had been distant lately, work stress mounting. Ethan agreed to a date, justifying it as just friends. Dinner led to a walk, then a kiss under streetlights. Regret hit instantly. This was a mistake, Ethan said, pulling away. Alex nodded sadly. Figure out what you want. Ethan called Chris that night, confessing. Silence stretched. You kissed someone else? Chris's voice broke.
I'm sorry.
I was confused. Chris hung up. Betrayal reversed. Ethan drove to Columbus the next day, finding Chris at his apartment, packing. I'm done hiding. Moving to New York for a job offer. Ethan's world spun. Because of me? Partly, Chris admitted. But also for me. Your family's drama, mine. It's too much. They argued, tears flowing. "We can make it work," Ethan pleaded. Chris shook his head. "You need to heal alone." "So do I." The breakup shattered Ethan. He returned to Chicago, throwing himself into work and therapy. Inner conflict raged. Had he sabotaged happiness out of fear? Mark, sensing distress, visited. Over beer, Ethan opened up. "I lost him because I couldn't commit fully." Mark listened. "Love's messy, but you deserve it." Back home, Mark faced his own crossroads. Lisa wanted kids, but the family turmoil made him question stability. "Are we ready?" she asked. "With all this," Mark sighed. Their marriage strained under the weight. Lisa supported Ethan openly, attending a PFLAG meeting. "We can change minds," she said. Mark joined her, surprised by stories mirroring Ethan's. One parent shared, "I lost my son to suicide because I rejected him. Don't make my mistake." The words hit hard. Mark confronted his parents again. "Ethan's coming for Thanksgiving. Accept him or I won't come either." Dad balked. "Ultimatums? From my own son?" "Yes," Mark said firmly. "Family evolves." Mom mediated, arranging a tense dinner. Ethan arrived with nerves stealing. Small talk fizzled into silence. Then Dad spoke. "I read some articles. Still don't agree. But you're my son." Olive branch. Ethan teared up. "Thanks, Dad." But progress halted when a cousin outed Chris's side publicly. Chris's family disowned him fully, cutting financial ties. Chris called Mark. "I'm broke. Job fell through." Mark offered help. "Stay with us." Chris accepted reluctantly. Seeing him broken, Mark reflected on his initial rage. "I was wrong to blame you." Chris smiled weakly. Water under the bridge. Ethan learned of Chris's plight through Mark. Guilt resurfaced. He visited, finding Chris on the couch. "I'm sorry for everything." Chris hugged him. "Me too. Friends." "More," Ethan whispered. Rekindling sparked, cautious this time. But society bit back. At university, Ethan faced discrimination, a professor docking grades subtly, peers whispering. He filed a complaint, igniting a campus debate. Media picked up. Gay student alleges bias. Support poured in, but so did hate mail. Ethan's resolve hardened. "I won't back down." Mark rallied, writing letters to the school. "Proud of you, bro." Family dynamics shifted. Dad attended a church session on inclusion, returning thoughtful. "Maybe I was wrong." Mom baked Ethan's favorite pie, a silent apology. Yet betrayal lurked. A family friend, feigning concern, leaked more photos to tabloids. Ethan's privacy invaded, he sued for defamation. The process drained him emotionally and financially. In court, testimonies revealed prejudices. The leaker defended, just upholding values. Judge ruled in Ethan's favor, a small victory, but scars remained. Chris, witnessing Ethan's strength, proposed reconciliation. "Let's build something real, away from here." Ethan hesitated. "What about our families?" "They'll catch up," Chris said. They moved to San Francisco together, a fresh start. Mark visited often, bridging gaps. But old wounds reopened when Dad suffered another health scare. Blame whispers. Stress from Ethan's choices. Ethan flew back, confronting Dad bedside. "My life isn't causing this. Your refusal is." Dad wept. "I see that now. Forgive me?" Healing began. Mark watched, realizing his role in the chaos, initial shock fueling division. As Ethan returned west, he pondered the costs. Lost innocence, strained bonds, but gained authenticity. Was it worth it? In San Francisco, Ethan and Chris built a life amid the fog and hills. They rented a tiny apartment overlooking the bay, Ethan pursuing graphic design, Chris in marketing. The city's vibrancy contrasted Columbus's stifling norms. Pride flags waved freely, communities thrived, but echoes of past traumas lingered. Ethan's therapy sessions delved deeper. "You traded security for truth," his counselor noted. "That's brave, but costly." Nights brought nightmares. Family rejection, Chris's pained eyes during the breakup. Chris comforted him. "We're here now." Their relationship deepened, honest conversations replacing secrets. "No more hiding," Chris vowed. Back east, Mark navigated his evolving role. He and Lisa attended counseling, addressing marital strains from the drama. "I felt sidelined," Lisa admitted. Mark nodded. "I was too focused on fixing everyone." They decided on kids, but with conditions. An inclusive home. Mark volunteered at LGBTQ allies groups, educating others. His parents slowly adapted. Dad joined a support circle for parents of gay children. Mom sent care packages to Ethan. But not all mended smoothly. A family reunion turned sour when an uncle spewed slurs. "Abomination," he snarled at Ethan via video call. Mark cut him off. "Out. Now." The act solidified alliances but isolated some relatives. Mark questioned, was unity worth excision? Ethan faced professional hurdles. A client withdrew after discovering his orientation. "Doesn't align with our values." Discrimination stung. Ethan networked harder, landing a gig with a progressive firm. Success tasted bittersweet. Proof of resilience. Reminder of bias. Chris's family remained estranged. His mom called once, tearful. "I miss you." "Then accept me," Chris replied. Silence followed. The rejection fueled his activism. He spoke at events, sharing their story. Love shouldn't cost family. Ethan joined him on stage once, voice steady. "We paid dearly, but gained freedom." Applause roared, but online trolls attacked. Death threats arrived, forcing them to relocate temporarily. Fear gripped. Was visibility worth danger? Mark flew out, offering support. "Stay safe. We're with you." Brotherly talks revealed Mark's growth. "I used to think family meant conformity. Now it's acceptance." Ethan smiled. "Took a scandal to teach us." Holidays approached, testing bonds. Ethan invited parents to San Francisco. They accepted hesitantly. The visit was awkward. Dad stiff at pride murals. Mom wide-eyed at diverse crowds. Over dinner, truth surfaced. Dad admitted, "I feared losing you to hell, but losing you here hurts more." Ethan hugged him. "I'm still me, Dad." Tears flowed, barriers crumbling. Mom whispered, "I'm sorry for the pain." Forgiveness bloomed, but not without residue. Chris's absence from his own family highlighted disparities. A twist emerged. Mark discovered the original photo sender was a jealous ex of Chris's, seeking revenge. Confrontation led to apologies, but damage irreversible. Ethan reflected, "One person's hate rippled through us all." As years ticked, Ethan and Chris married in a small ceremony, Mark as best man. Vows echoed sacrifices. Through betrayal and awakening, we choose each other. Families attended. Dad walked Ethan down the aisle, a symbolic gesture. Joy mingled with melancholy for absent faces.
Post-wedding, challenges persisted.
Adoption discussions arose, but biases in the system loomed. "We'll fight," Chris said. Mark's first child arrived, named after Ethan. A tribute. Visits bridged coasts, nurturing new generations free of old prejudices. Yet, society lagged. News of anti-LGBTQ laws stirred fears. Ethan lobbied, turning pain into purpose. One evening, watching the sunset, Ethan asked Chris, "Regrets?" "None," Chris replied. "The price shaped us." Mark, visiting, agreed. "We all paid, but emerged stronger." The journey's toll. Fractured ties mended unevenly, innocence lost, but authenticity gained. Decisions haunted, Mark's initial lie, Ethan's fling, Chris's move. In quiet moments, Ethan wondered if alternate paths existed. But reality grounded, choices define us. Life in San Francisco settled into a rhythm, but undercurrents of past conflicts resurfaced unpredictably. Ethan thrived in his design career, creating campaigns for LGBTQ rights organizations, channeling his experiences into art that moved people. Chris advanced in his firm, leading diversity initiatives. Their home became a sanctuary, filled with photos of reclaimed family moments. Dad fishing with them, Mom baking in their kitchen. Yet, the scars manifested in subtle ways. Ethan developed anxiety, triggered by anonymous calls echoing old harassments. Therapy continued, unpacking layers of internalized shame. "Society's weight is heavy," his counselor said. "You've shouldered it well." Chris battled depression sporadically, missing his estranged family. A breakthrough came when his sister reached out secretly. "I support you." Dad's stubborn, but softening. Hope glimmered. Chris visited alone, a tense reunion. His dad grumbled but didn't reject outright. "Takes time," Chris reported back. Mark's family grew, Lisa pregnant again. He balanced fatherhood with advocacy, speaking at schools about acceptance. "My brother's story taught me," he'd say. But a major crisis hit when Dad's church split over LGBTQ inclusion. Dad chose the progressive faction, losing old friends. "Worth it for my sons," he told Mark. Ethan flew home for support. The visit unearthed buried resentments. "Over coffee," Dad confessed. "I pushed you away because I was scared. Of change, of judgment." Ethan nodded. "I forgive you, but the hurt lingers." Honesty fostered deeper bonds. Mom shared her evolution. "I prayed for understanding, and got it." Returning west, Ethan proposed to Chris they adopt. The process was grueling, background checks probing their stability. Subtle biases from caseworkers. "Why make it harder?" Ethan vented. Chris held firm. "For our future family." They persevered, welcoming a baby girl, Mia, named after the cousin who sheltered Ethan. Joy overflowed, but challenges arose. Playground stairs, questions about two dads. Ethan taught resilience early. "Love makes a family," he'd say. Mark's kids adored their uncles. Video calls bridging distances. Yet, a betrayal from within struck. A cousin, jealous of the mended ties, spread rumors online, reigniting old scandals. Ethan sued again, winning, but exhaustion mounted. "When does it end?" he asked Chris. "Never fully," Chris admitted. "But we endure." Social shifts helped. Laws evolved, acceptance grew. Ethan wrote a memoir, detailing the journey. Shocks, betrayals, awakenings. It hit bestseller lists, sparking debates. Interviews probed. Was coming out worth the family rift? "Absolutely," Ethan said. "Authenticity over illusion." Critics argued otherwise, citing destroyed traditions. Ethan countered, "Traditions evolve or die." Chris supported co-authoring chapters. Their story inspired many, but attracted vitriol too. In a quiet anniversary, reflecting on the path, from that fateful photo to now, Ethan marveled at the transformations. Mark had become an ally, parents accepting, themselves thriving. But costs tallied. Lost years in hiding, emotional wounds, severed ties. Decisions weighed. Mark's confrontation, Ethan's flight, Chris's patience. As Mia slept, Ethan whispered to Chris, "We paid dearly." Chris kissed him. "And gained more." The narrative closed on a family gathering, all together in San Francisco. Laughter echoed. Past pains faded but not forgotten. In the end, was sacrificing family harmony for personal truth the right choice, or a selfish act that inflicted unnecessary pain?